the song. Whoops. Johnny Depp, the song's for you. After all that you've been through, we collectively we say we love you. Collectively we say we love you. Nope. Collectively we say we love you. So it goes D. Collectively we say we E. Love. Back to C. You. I am very excited to do this video. I have loved Elvis since I was a little girl. My parents had the opportunity to see his last concert in '77 but didn't go. I mean, why? I remember vividly when the news came that he died. I thought my little 8-year-old heart would break into a million pieces. I cried for weeks. It was my dream to visit Graceland after that and pay my respects. I finally got that chance when my parents took me for my 21st birthday. Oh my God, I mean, there I was in Elvis's house. I could imagine him walking around the house, Lisa Marie running around as a child, the iconic people that must have passed through those halls. I imagined family meals in the dining room, Christmas morning in the living room. When I visited, he had an aunt that was still living in the upstairs part of the house. For that, and just to preserve his privacy, the public was not allowed to go upstairs. We were allowed in every other part of it. The tour led through the dining room and kitchen, down halls to the jungle room where he recorded many of his songs. When we got outside, the group headed toward the racquetball building. I was lost in my own world, because as soon as I spotted the gravesite, no one and nothing else existed. I walked on over there. My parents didn't even notice I had left the group, nor did anyone else. I followed the path to Elvis's resting place, where I'd felt like what must have been 30 minutes, although it probably wasn't as long as that, but I had a good deal amount of time there, alone. It was just me and Elvis. I paid my respects, shared some personal thoughts and thanks, and laid my rose on his grave. I shed a few tears, but I kept my composure. It felt like I was in a bubble, as if it were meant to be, that I should have those few moments alone there with his memory, because it wasn't until after I laid my rose on his grave that the group caught up with me. My broken heart was at last healed, having gotten to pay respects to this phenomenal human being, an entertainer and man born before his time. Elvis paved the way and broke the ice for all of the music we have today. Elvis was the first one to make it okay to express yourself musically without judgment. Elvis Presley was one of a kind, and there hasn't been anyone with as much charisma, talent in both acting and musical ability, not to mention fan loyalty, as Elvis, though some have come close. That is, I believe this generation was given Johnny Depp. He's a lot quieter than Elvis, but there are many similarities, and in this video, I will be comparing the similarities. Like Elvis, Johnny Depp has a very loyal fan base. They travel near and far just for the chance of meeting him or even just to see him in person. They don't do this because they are crazed fans. Johnny's fans feel a connection with him because it's created a sense of family, of belonging, and he addresses his fans on a personal level. For this reason, fans feel a closeness with him. Like Elvis, Johnny's fans carry signs and scream his name, and some cry and some faint when near him. We didn't have the internet in Elvis's day. The digital world was not what it is today. Can you imagine if we had social media when Elvis was alive? Like Elvis, Johnny has a deep speaking voice. It is both soothing and, in my opinion, attention-getting. It commands respect at the same time, can sing a song that melts your heart. Watch a video of Elvis on stage and you will see him interacting with his fans, whether he's accepting gifts or giving out scarves, hugs, kisses. Johnny Depp does this too. While playing his guitar on stage, Johnny will give a nod to a fan. I see you. He might place his hand over his heart. Thank you. He might smile in the direction of a fan trying to take a photo or video. When signing autographs, like Elvis, Johnny tries to spend as much time as he can getting to everyone he's able to. He speaks with them. He acknowledges them. He knows they are the reason he is there. I believe Elvis understood this fundamental truth as well, that the fans are important, and they essentially pay the bills. I'm not saying that to be smart or anything. Johnny himself has said many times that his fans are his employers. Without the fans, the box offices make no money, albums don't sell. Show me a celebrity who disses their fans, and I'll show you someone whose career doesn't last long. Like Elvis, Johnny had some financial issues that were not his fault. Elvis had lawsuits because of his bodyguards. In '76, when he went on a stage, a young boy was taking pictures. The bodyguards pushed him against the wall and told him not to take pictures. Elvis saw what was happening and got upset about it, even yelling at his bodyguards, telling them to back off, and they weren't going to treat his fans like that. So, another fan was taking pictures after that incident. The bodyguards had already apparently roughed that guy up. Elvis came to the rescue again, once again telling his bodyguards to let the man go. Elvis goes up to this man and tells him he can take all the pictures he wants. The bodyguards, I'm sure, felt that they were just doing their job, but Elvis felt like they took it too far. Johnny's bodyguards also have the unpopular task of keeping him safe, and sometimes that means pulling him away from fans to prevent someone getting hurt. Not just Johnny, but the fans as well. I've seen videos of fans pushing forward to get close to him. I wouldn't personally want to be near the front of those crowds. As thrilling as it is, it must also be kind of scary. Elvis and Johnny both came from humble beginnings. Elvis drove an electrician's truck in a small town in Tupelo, Mississippi, and Johnny worked many odd jobs, including selling ink pens and working at a gas station, and he comes from a small town in Kentucky.
Wow. How much would you have to pay? I don't remember, but it was like more than we had. Yeah, right. Yeah, but I did have a job the entire band job at this hotel market place. What were you selling? Ink pens. Ink pens.
Both Southern-raised gentlemen. I suppose this is why they both treat their fans with so much respect. Each remembering the life before stardom, and being raised in the South, manners are instilled in you by every relative and neighbor you come in contact with. Like Elvis, Johnny has a smile that just lights up the world. Of course, Elvis had that lip thing. I wonder if Johnny can do that. Another similarity is that just like Elvis, acting is not Johnny Depp's first love. For both of them, their first love is music. Elvis didn't care much for acting when he first got into it. They had typecast him and wanted him to sing in all his movies. Johnny fought being typecast and ended up giving us some of the most beloved and memorable characters the world has ever known. But for Johnny, music will always be home to him. I personally think he prefers the interactions with his fans, as he calls us, his relatives. I think he enjoys seeing the faces of the people who love him. I think it fills him back up. I bet it did the same for Elvis. Fashion. Elvis certainly had his own style. Again, so does Johnny Depp. Elvis wore lavish, specially made costumes, and Johnny makes dressing down look like high fashion. I looked up those quote-unquote worn clothes that Johnny wears. That stuff is seriously costly. I keep thinking back to my childhood and the whooping I would have gotten if I had torn my jeans, and now people pay good money to buy them like that. Elvis had a flair for dressing, and so does Johnny. Elvis's dad went to prison for 3 years for stealing a few dollars from his boss. The family was in dire need, and he was desperate. Johnny's stepdad, Robert Palmer, also did time in prison. The 2015 Hollywood vampire song, As Bad as I Am, was an ode to him, according to an interview with USA Today. Both Elvis and Johnny's first instrument was the guitar. Elvis really wanted a bike, but they couldn't afford it, so he bought a guitar at the hardware store and a book that showed him where to put his fingers. And Johnny received his first guitar as a gift from his mother. As with Elvis, Johnny is shy in nature. If you ever watch interviews with Elvis, it's quite the different personality than what you see when he's on stage performing. Johnny Depp has the same persona about him when he's being interviewed. He's got a very quiet sense about him. Both Elvis and Johnny, very stoic individuals in their real lives. Like Elvis, Johnny's children are everything to him. Elvis had one daughter, Lisa Marie. She looks just like him, and so does his granddaughter. Johnny has two children, Lily Rose and Jack, who both share his good looks. Elvis and his wife divorced, and Johnny and the mother of his children, Vanessa Paradis, parted ways. But again, like Elvis remained close to Priscilla, Johnny remains close to Vanessa. Do I believe Elvis inhabits Johnny? No. But I do believe someone like them, with so much charisma and talent, yet humble and, well, let's face it, unbelievably good looking, comes along once each generation. My parents had Elvis. We have Johnny Depp.